I have one of my dear friends. She is like everything. She steps out there. She's an activist. She's a writer. She's an actress. She does it all. I have V with me, and we could not be more delighted. Let me read some of this resume. I won't read it all, but she is the Tony Award winning playwright, activist, performer, and author of the Obie Award winning theatrical phenomenon, the Vagina Monologues, baby. And I saw the Vagina Monologues. Maybe some of you who are viewing have seen the Vagina Monologues. I think I just like to say the word, but Vagina Monologues be published in over 48 languages, performed in over 140 countries, and heralded by the New York Times as one of the best American plays of the past 25 years, and that no recent hour of theater has had as greater impact worldwide. And V, you got a new book coming out, and we're gonna discuss that a little later, titled The Reckoning. And that will be released on January the 30th. Am I correct about that?
31st.
January 31st of this year. So we are so excited. So V, we're probably gonna have to have a part 2 to our interview. So I wanna put that out there right now. So today is the 50th anniversary, correct, of Roe v. Wade. And the Supreme Court, as we all know, gutted, rolled back the hands of time by dismantling Roe v. Wade in the Dobbs v. Jackson case. And you wrote an article, you've written many articles, but you were fit to be tied over this. And you basically said, you know what, we're not gonna sit idly by and let this happen. And you wrote for The Guardian an article, and you really put it out. And I just have one excerpt from that. You said, will we finally agree to understand that the struggle for abortion rights is the struggle against white supremacy, is the struggle to end gender oppression and the patriarchy, so that we stand by each other when they come to each of our doors. Do you see us any closer to standing by one another when they come to our doors? And why did you frame that as the patriarchy, and you threw in very strongly white supremacy?
Because we can't separate these issues out anymore, right? I mean, there was an amazing report that just came out 2 days ago from the Economic Policy Institute, which is really describing the economic of abortion bans, for example, right? And it walks through all the fiscal implications of abortion bans and how policy isn't driven really by religious beliefs, but rather forms of economic subjugation, right? And I just want to, if I can just quote what this brilliant woman, Asha Banarche, who is the author of the report, said: abortion has long been framed as a cultural, religious, or personal issue rather than a material, bread and butter economic concern. In reality, abortion rights and economic progress are fundamentally intertwined, and the loss of abortion rights means the loss of economic security, independence, and mobility for millions of people. So of course, these are all connected, because obviously, if we look at the abortion ban as an effort to hold back working class people, right, from climbing up the ladder or out of poverty, we know who that impacts, right? It impacts Black and brown women and people and trans people and non-binary people. And all these issues are woven together. And I think we are so used to siloing all our issues in this country, seeing workers' rights over here and women's rights over here and transgender rights over here and Black rights. It's one story, and it's coalition building, it's collective building that's gonna give us the power to win these fights. Right?
So much true that definitely need to build strong coalitions. And V, do you believe that the 117th Congress and this current president did everything that they could? And I'm not talking, we're in the 118th. I'm talking about last year, the last 2 years actually. Did they do everything that they could to protect Roe v. Wade?
No, not at all. I mean, look, if it's your body that's on the line, if it's your body that is being forced to have a baby that you don't want to have, that you have no desire for, if it's your body that knows that has a baby inside you that will die in the course of the pregnancy and you don't want to carry it, if you have a baby inside you that got there from rape, if you have you know how serious this issue is. And you know the impact of that issue, and you know you will fight for your life You will go to any extent, any extreme to make sure we have those rights. I have not seen that energy. I have not seen that energy coming out of the Congress. I have not seen that commitment, even though it is many people who were rising for abortion rights that put a lot of those people into Congress, right? And got that president elected. And it's what always happens, right? We do the work of getting people there, and then they forget about who we are. And there is so much more everybody could be doing, because 85% of this country supports abortion rights. It is a fringe minority that has taken over the Supreme Court, two of which are sexual predators themselves. The rest, and several others put there by a sexual predator, who are determining the rights for millions of people, the rights of our bodies, the rights of our futures, the rights of our economic well-being, the rights of our healthcare, all of that. And I think if it's your body, you're going to feel really differently about it.
And V, I mean, I just don't know how much freedom one has when you cannot control your own body. And so for the party that preaches freedom, 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 they definitely want government to be small enough to fit in a woman's womb. That is for sure. And there's a link between, I mean, abortion rights is reproductive health. I mean, all of that goes hand in hand, and also economic rights as well. So V, I'm definitely gonna have to have you come back. We only have a few more minutes, and I want to talk about your book, The Reckoning. And I was starting to read some excerpts, and it's part memoir, part political treatise. Why did it take over 40 years to come to life?
Well, I think it was during COVID that I think it was really the beginning of what I hope would be our reckoning, right? I mean, in a lot of different directions, we were beginning to look at what I thought was the incredible lack of infrastructure in this country, which COVID made bare, right? The fact that we have no healthcare, the fact that we don't care about our nurses, the fact that we don't care about poor people and Black and brown people and the struggling people who didn't have any access to healthcare. It revealed all the terrible things that happened and were instigated by the diabolical 9 minutes, public minutes of a knee on the neck of George Floyd. It showed us the fires that were happening in California and the breathless birds that were falling out of the sky. We saw what our country was. We saw the history we haven't examined. We saw the story of this country that still remains unexamined and unprocessed, right? And unreckoned with. And for me, I was not a frontline worker. I was lucky in that I'm a writer, and I was locked up in my own house, but I was also locked up with myself and my thoughts and my past and nostalgia and where I was responsible and wrong in my own life. And I thought, we are in a time of reckoning. We are in a time of reckoning. And as much as the right wants to push back and try to say we're not going to have Black African American studies, and we're not going to teach critical race theory, and we're going to ban books, it's happening. It is
happening, B. Well, definitely, certainly, we are going to have you back. Definitely a lot of reckoning to take place both in this country and also in the world, and we cannot wait. You all, that book is available on January the 31st, and V takes us through her own personal journey and gathers us up to the present moment. V, you are such a blessing to the entire world.
You're the best. I can't say how happy I am you are in this world.
And I appreciate you as well. And thank you so much for all of your support. And I hope that I can join you. The Reckoning, everybody. Make sure you pick it up.